שׁיעור בגמרא במציעא פרק השוכר דף ע"ח עמוד בייז. The Gemara is going to discuss, going back to the Mishnah, to discuss something that it was said, halacha that it was said. In the Mishnah we said, Oy שנעשית אנגריא, in the Mishnah daf ע"ח עמוד א', the Mishnah said the following. Oy שנעשית אנגריא, if the soldiers of the king took away the animal that the guy rented, and now he has no animal to use, so the Mishnah says, he tells them, which means literally wait till they bring it back. So now what happens if they don't bring it back? What happens if they just go? So what's going to be the deal? So the Gemara is going to discuss all this, all these details. It starts with the line beginning with the word Oy שנעשית אנגריא on the first wide line. Oy, ולא זוג דאלה כגמרא Oy שנעשית אנגריא אימא לרשכו לפניך. Omar Rav, lo yishonu elo. We only learn that what? That he can tell him which we learned so far, wait till it comes back. B'Angarya chozeres. B'Angarya chozeres means if the soldiers bring it back on time, that he can still do his job. So he can tell him, wait till they bring it back. Aval Angarya shena chozeres. But if the Angarya will bring it back, but they're not going to be back on time, he has to give him back. He has to give him another donkey. Why? Says the Eileke Rashi. Aval Angarya sheina chozeres. Aval okemei so nishbor. It's considered as dead or broke. Why? Because you can't use it. They're going to bring it back. It's going to be too late. Look at the Tosfos. B'Angarya chozeres. The yochol lasos melachto keshetachzor. That he can do his job when the behemoth, when the donkey will come back. Af al pi shetisacher b'melachto. Even though he's going to be delayed in his job, it's still good. He can still tell him, wait. Why? But because of being delayed to the work, he doesn't have to give him another donkey. How do we see it? So Tosfos brings a proof. So just like the case, if somebody rents somebody a behemoth and he became blind or got crazy, it's also a big delay in the job, and we don't worry about it. So we see that for being delayed, it's not considered anything that he has to give him another donkey. So this is the opinion of Rav that makes a difference between if the Angarya brings it back on time or the Angarya does not bring it back on time. Now the Gemara brings the opinion of Shmuel. Shmuel disagrees. It says, Ben Angarya chozeres, Ben Angarya shena chozeres. We do not make a difference between if the Angarya brings it back or not. We make another difference. In that difference, we have a machlokes between Rashi and Tosfos. What's the meaning? First, we're going to learn Rashi, and then we're going to learn the Tosfos, Rabbeinu Hanana. Beautiful, beautiful pshatim. Im bederech halicho nitla. If the soldiers who take the donkey, they're going in the same direction as the Shochar goes. That means, let's say he goes west, and the Angarya also goes west. So therefore, he can tell them, which means follow them till they finish their job, and then they're going to give it back to you. And if they're not going in the same direction, rather they're going to the other direction, they're going east, he has to give him another donkey because they told I don't have to go to a different direction. It's like Meisa and Ishbara. Let's see the Rashi. Says Rashi, the Angarya takes it to the same way that he wants to go. So Rashi first explain what is the way the soldiers of the king behave. That's the way of the soldiers. They take the donkey of this person A, and the person A follows after the soldiers and with this donkey. And any other donkey that the Angarya meets on the way, meaning they see person B, they take from person B his donkey, and they give back to person A. And they give back the person A the donkey. Like this, they get people to share the burden of helping the king with whatever he needs. And person B follows after the donkey, goes after the Angarya, till they meet person C. So that's the way of the Angarya. Therefore, Ilkoch Oimerloi. So the masker can tell the soicher, Oilov mazol chogon, since it's both of our mazel cause, I mean, you bad mazel and my bad mazel. So if the guy is going to say to him, I'm going to run chase after an Angaria, go rent another donkey, and fall after them if it's hard for you, till they're going to meet somebody else and they're going to give you back your donkey. Which means like this. Let's say the Angaria took this donkey, so the master tells them, just follow them till they're going to meet this person or this donkey, and they're going to take this and they're going to give you back this one. And he is going to follow them till they're going to meet another donkey, and he's going to chase after them till they're going to finish the job. And if it's hard for you to follow them, so go rent another donkey and chase after them. That's what Rashi says. Comes Toysis and has a simple question. Let's see the Toysis in B'derech Halichos Anit. Im B'derech Halichos Anit lo im ala resh chol fanecho. Pirush b'kuntres. We already explained why is Rashi called a kuntres, but whenever it says in Toysis kuntres, it refers to Rashi. Pirush b'kuntres. Shemoilicho b'derech shegamur oitzel elach. The Angaria takes the donkey in the same direction as the soicher wants to go, and therefore, the masker tells them, go. Resh chol fanecho means go follow them. And if it's hard for you, you can rent another behemoth to follow them till they give you back your donkey. So Tosis took Rashi's pirush and made it very, very short. Comes Tosis and asking a very simple and very hard question. V'teimen. What do you mean the masker tells them go chase after them? Fine, chasing after them is one thing, but then he tells them, and if it's hard for you, go chase and go rent another donkey. What do you mean rent? Why should he have to rent another donkey? I'm renting a donkey from you, now I can't use it, so give me back another donkey. Now the Tosis says, and if you're going to say that the Soicher, Tosis has maybe a possibility of answering the question of Rashi. Could well be that the Soicher needed to go to this place and to bring stuff from that place. So he didn't need to load it. So going there it's empty, and coming back is going to be loaded with stuff. So if the Soicher needs it only on the way back, so therefore he can tell him, you don't need it anyway. So you don't need to rent. The only reason that you need to rent another donkey is to chase after them. So he says, rent another donkey to chase after them. But you don't need it to schlep anything. If you will need to schlep something with the behemoth going there, then the masker the masker cannot tell him go rent another donkey, because right now I'm going there and I have full merchandise to go there, to go to this place. How can you tell me go rent another donkey? I'm not getting any use of your behemoth. I rented your behemoth to go from here to take merchandise. So therefore, you have to give me another donkey. But if he needs the donkey to come to load it with stuff from this place to go back home, so then he tells them, go chase after them. You anyway not using it now, you're using it later, so you're going to be able to use it later. That's what Tosis says. That's Tosis trying to answer. But Tosis does not like the answer. And if the Soicher does not need the donkey on the way there, rather he only needs it on the way back, it would make sense to make that chiluk b'derech halicho or not b'derech halicho. So b'derech halicho will mean that if he needs it so derech halicho will mean totally different. Derech halicho will mean a little bit different. But this is a bit different question. But if so, if you're going to make a difference, if he needs the donkey on the way there or not, begufa v'leile plugi. Why is the Gemara making a difference between derech halicho going west, or the Angaria going east and he's going west? That means derech halicho or sheloi b'derech halicho. The Gemara should have made a different chiluk. Instead of making a difference between going here and going to the opposite direction, if he has to give him another donkey or not, the Gemara could have said the same chiluk. Both of them, everybody is going to the same direction. But if he needs the donkey only on the way back, then it will be a resh chol fanecho. And if he needs it on the way there, will be chayv lamid lechamor because he can't use it right away. So why is the Gemara making a chiluk b'derech halicho sheloi b'derech halicho? The Gemara could have made a chiluk b'derech halicho itself if he needs it right away or he needs it later. So why the Gemara didn't make a chiluk? So because of these few questions, Tosfos has a totally different shot. V'nira kepirush Rabbeinu Hananel. And it looks like the way Rabbeinu Hananel explains. Now this pirush also will show the huge difference between Rav, who made a difference between Angario Choizeres and Angario Sheino Choizeres, and Shmuel that made a difference between Derech Halicho and or not. So let's read it. V'nira the kepirush Rabbeinu Hananel, the Mefarash Rabbeinu Hananel explains. In Derech Halicho, what is Derech Halicho? She'Angario mechapsim bebotim. Derech Halicho means the Angario do not check if they need a donkey to do the service of the king. They don't go into people's houses. Elo keshepoigim b'derech. Only when they go on the road, that's when they take it from people. Ve'ayin derech halichos, and that's the meaning of the words derech halichos. So now, what's going to be the din? So the masker tells the Sudim Soicher, Arei shel chol lefonecho. He says Arei shel chol lefonecho. According to the Pshat, Arei shel chol lefonecho means too bad on you. It's you bad mazel. The Motziah because you can tell him mazol chagoram. Only you bad mazel caused you. Why? Sheilu oisav abayis. If the donkey would have been in the masker's house, lo yoisani tell us. It wouldn't be taking away. So therefore, it's only your bad luck. So since it's only your bad luck, so therefore, it's too bad on you. Now Tosfos even points out a little bit even more. And even she never comes back. That usually we said when he never comes back, he has to give him another donkey. Here he says it. In this case, that it's a bad mazel of the soicher, so even if he never comes back, he still tell him why? It's not compared to the case of Meso that he can never use it. By Meso we said he has to give him another donkey. Why? Here we see clearly the mazol didei goyrem. It's only the soicher's bad mazel. So if it's only the soicher's bad mazel, therefore, excuse me, therefore it tells him so that's b'derech halicho, that they only take it from the road. Now, what about what's sheloi b'derech halicho? Now, I just wanted to point out that according to Rav, if they are being delayed, if it, for sure they don't bring back, it's always chayv lamid lachamoyer. And here we see that even if it doesn't ever come back, because it's his bad mazel of the soicher, he doesn't have to give him another donkey. V'im sheloi b'derech halicho, he tells us. Which means, what does that mean? The Ainu shemechapsim gamabatim. That they're also, the Angario, when they need a donkey, they're also going to people's houses. She'az loy mazol shel soicher goyim. Then in that case, it's not the bet mazel of the soicher. It's only the bet mazel of the masker. Why? Because they were going to his house anyway. He has to give him another donkey. When? To do his work right away. He doesn't have to be delayed. That even if the Angario will bring back the donkey to the place where he rents it, while bringing him back, the soicher will be able to use it. The soicher doesn't have to be delayed from his job. And he has to give him a donkey right away. Why? As we explained, because it's only the bad mazel of the masker. So since it's only the bad mazel of the masker, he doesn't have to be delayed and wait even for a second. Now, Tosfos wants to point out, before we mentioned that if Riko in Ishtates, or if you become blind, we don't care if he's being delayed. So we see that delay is not a problem. So why over here we see that delay is a problem and he has to give him a donkey right away. Says Tosfos, so you cannot compare it. It's not the same like the case of blindness or became crazy. Why? Because it's only the bet mazel of the mask. So here we have the two opinions between Rav and Shmuel. Now going back to the Gemara, 5 lines from the top of the wide lines. The Gemara is going to ask a question on Shmuel. So Shmuel made a difference between derech halicho or not. So the Gemara is going to bring a brisa, that the brisa is going to bring In our Mishnah, we had only one opinion of Angario. We had the opinion of Angario of Arei Shelcha Lefanecha. In the Brisa, we have two opinions of Angario. So let's see. The Shiva light ask Akasha and Shmuel from a Brisa. Somebody who rented a donkey and became blind, or became crazy. The master tells them, use it the best way you could. If the behemoth died, or it became, the soldiers of the king took her away, he has to give him another donkey. So first we have to point out that the Bryce is said before by Vrika Nishtata, so he tells him, so Rashi says right away, she's still suitable to carry packages, so therefore he tells him, so that's problem number one. Now, but as soon as you read the Bryce, we see a contradiction right away from the Bryce to the Mishnah. In our Mishnah says, Angario, and in the Bryce it says, so it's a clearly contradiction. So that's problem number one. So the Gemara says, the Gemara is taking off the question according to Rav. The contradiction doesn't apply to Rav. The contradiction only applies according to Shmuel. So the Gemara says, according to Rav, it's all good. In our Mishnah, when it says, and Angario brings it back while he can still do the job. In the Brisa, when it says, when the Angario doesn't bring it back on time. But according to Shmuel, who makes a difference between derech halicho nitlo or not, it's still a kasha. How is he going to answer the question? Look at the Gemara, and the guy who's asking the question is trying to avoid possibility of answers. And if you're going to say that according to Shmuel, it's also not a kasha, because Shmuel can also have the same answer, making a difference between derech halicho or not. How can in the Mishnah when it says it talks about shebederech halichos nitlo. Can in the Brisa ben chayv lamid lechamoy sheloi bederech halichos nitlo. Now we don't have to explain again derech halichos or not because we already went and elaborated before. So we can have the same answer according to Shmuel answer the contradiction. So the Gemara slugs it up right away. The one who asking the question slugs up the answer. Or me, the Ketani Sefer from there that it says in the end of the Brisa. Shimon melolozo oimer im bederech halichos nitlo. Oimer lo eresh shel lefanecho veim lav venifna bederech halichos nitlo chayv lamid lechamoy. So what do we see? Michlal, we see clearly that who makes a difference between derech halicho or not. Michlal comes out that Tanakame lo ishanile. Tanakame doesn't make a difference between derech halicho or not. So how can you answer the contradiction from the Tanakame of the Brisa to the Tana of our Mishnah? That's our question. We do not want to follow the opinion of Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar. Why? So Tosfos right away, the bottom Tosfos, Mechlal the Tanakame lo ishanile, says v'Tanakame odif. It's better to follow the opinion of Tanakame. Why? The Rabbi Lagabi Yochid, because Tanakame is all the other Chachamim, and Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar was a single person, so we prefer that Shmuel will follow the opinion of the Chachamim. So we want to answer the contradiction between the Tanakama of our Mishnah and the Tana of our Mishnah and the Tanakama of the Brisa. The last Rashi on the Amud. Bishloim el Rav lo kasha. So the Gemara doesn't explain what's the kasha. So Rashi elaborates exactly what was the question. Rumya the Masnitan Adodi. The contradiction from the Mishnah is the Brisa and the Mishnah on each other. Why the Motzil Mishnah? Because we were able to answer according to Rav. So now the Gemara is going to have two tirutzi. Omar loch Shmuel. So Shmuel is going to answer. The meaning Shmuel was not around to answer anymore these questions because he passed away. So we're going to answer for him. Omar loch Shmuel, answer one. Lav meikar Rab Shimon ben Elazar the koi kavasi. Don't we have the opinion of Rab Shimon ben Elazar that follow like me? That goes according to my opinion. I follow the opinion of Rab Shimon ben Elazar. Meaning, you don't like it that I follow the opinion of a Yochid? In this case, I do follow the opinion of a Yochid, and therefore it's all good. Comes out like this. That the contradiction between the Mishnah and the Braise is obviously the same achloikes between Rav and Shmuel. That's what comes out. Iboy is saying, we're going to answer another teretz. We want to bring a few points. Number one, what's wrong with the first teretz? So we already kept saying it. The missing point of the first answer is that Shmuel will come out that it's going to follow the opinion of a Yochid, and we wanted to say that since the halacha like Shmuel in many matters, so we wanted that Shmuel will be according to halachas, according to the rabbim, according to everybody's opinion. So the Gemara goes on a chap. The chap is called, I'm going to give an introduction, that it's missing words in the brisa, and if we add those words, everything is going to work out. Now, what does that mean we're adding words? We don't add any words. It means like this. Rabbi Nossi, when he put the Mishnahs together, he used the notebook of Rab Meir. Rab Meir wrote the notebooks for himself. If Rab Meir would have written the notebook for us, then those words would be much clearer, because Rab Meir used to write the Mishnahs, the halachas, very, very short. And therefore, if Rab Meir would have wrote it a little bit longer for us, those words would have been there. Okay? And after adding those words, then we do not have any questions. But the Gemara is going to add those words. That means then the entire Braise is one opinion. How we're going to do it with adding the words that we're going to see in a second. And by adding those words that we're going to see in a second, it's one opinion, and the opinion of Rav Shimon ben Elazar. Therefore, the Mishnah and the Braise is no more contradiction, because the Braise itself makes the difference between derech halicha or not, as we're going to see. Let's read it inside. The entire Braise follows according to Rav Shimon ben Elazar. It's obviously missing words in the Braise, and that's the way he should have said. Now we're going to start. We don't really have to translate the Braise, because basically it's just a few words extra, but it's self-explained according to the way we explained before. That's one halacha. That's it. Now the Braise said this is starting the words that was missing that we're going to add on. When do we say that Angario he has to give him another donkey? So the addition is She'oyo, that's the last word of the addition. She'oyo Rab Shimon ben Elazar oimer. Im b'derech halichos ilucho nitlo oimer lo yeshchol lefanecho, ve'im lo yichayv la'am lo yichamer. So what do we see? That Rab Shimon ben Elazar is one opinion in the Braise, and he makes a difference between derech halicha or not. Therefore, we can go back to our Mishnah by Angario, Arei shechol lefanecho, talks about derech halicha, and when the Braise goes to elaborate, goes to a little bit more details. That's it, and a very simple text. But the Gemara is going to challenge this answer. Would you be able to make that the entire Braise goes according to Rab Shimon ben Elazar? How can it be? Voktoni Reish, it says in the Reish of the Braise, in the beginning of the Braise. So we see that by Ivriko in Ishtateso, if she become crazy, tells him use it the best way he could. Rashbo says in a different Braise, somebody rented a donkey to ride on it. Ivriko in Ishtateso, here it says so it's a contradiction. Before we says Nishtateso is a Reshachol Lefonecho, and here it says Nishtateso chayav la'am lechamer. So what is it? And for the Eilike Gemara, you're missing one detail different between the two Braises. The second Braise that you just brought, you rented a donkey to ride on it. When you rent a donkey to ride on it and the donkey become crazy, that's dangerous. You can't use it. She's just going to throw him off and he's going to get hurt. Therefore, he has to give him another donkey. But a regular just to carry packages, you could control the behemoth, and therefore it's a reshchol fanecha. Rashi, lirchoy voleo, lirchoy shani. The Rashi on top, we are in Daf Intes Amud Aleph. Shema tipel tachto, maybe she's going to fall underneath him, begesher on a bridge, or shetashlechenu b'achas apchosim, or maybe she's going to throw him in one of the ditches. Therefore, it becomes sakonas afosos, dangerous. Back to the Gemara. The Gemara is going to add another halacha. Omar Rav Pope, ukleis chuchis. If you rented a behemoth to carry glass dishes on it, since it's very delicate and it can break in any unsuspected movement, it's considered like he rented to ride on it, and therefore, if she became crazy, he has to give him another donkey right away. Thank you for listening to the Shîעור.